All right, we're recording? Okay. All right, hello everybody. My name is Christy and I am one of the co-founders of Home Bakers Academy. So I'm going to do a striped crumb cake today and I don't know where to look. I'm gonna look here. So has anybody made one of these before? No? Karen, no? Angela, no?
Nope.
No.
No? Okay, well, good. So I thought kind of what I would do is, because it doesn't take a lot of time, I thought I would just go over one of the ways that I make a cake board. So I just thought I would do everything from start to finish as if it was a real order. And if you guys have any questions about any of it, you can stop me. So a lot of people use the cake drums, which is you know, already a thick board, 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch, and then it's all perfectly done. I'm sure you guys have seen Melissa's. They're very easy. They're a little bit more expensive, but they're just super quick. So if you have a high volume, it's definitely the way to go. Because I work full time, I tend to only have 5 to 6 cakes a week. So this is just one of the things that I like to do, one, because I love to do crafts. And I also think that I can give it some personality. You can do it with fondant if you want to do a fondant top on your cake board. That's a great way to give it some personality. But this is just what I've always done. I always tell myself I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna take it easy, but then I don't. So I do have a ribbon obsession. This is just a scrap, and since this is just for demo purposes, I found some boards that were kind of, you can see that they're a little bit bent up, and then this was just some scrap. So imagine if this was a real order, you'd want to, not get the ones that were scrunched up. And there's a million beautiful ribbons that, just match it with your cake. So I have this super duper, it's DeWalt hot glue gun. And let me put you down a little. So I take 3. I always take 3. And if you can see the lines in there, can you see that, Karen? Okay, so I like to make sure my lines are crisscross. So if these lines are going like this, when I glue this one on, I make it the opposite. And then it just gives it a little bit of extra support, I think. I read that somewhere. So I just do it, and I always go shh like that. I don't know why. And then make sure your lines are right, and then you just want to make sure it's perfect.
So to get this done right, do you have to have the sound effects?
Yes, absolutely. Now, because my boards are not perfect, you see what it's doing? That's not good. And when you have straight boards, it won't do that. And I kind of knew that was going to happen. I was just hoping for the best. But I'm just going to squish them together. And here's another one. I don't prefer this by any means. But since we're not selling it, when I'm doing this for a customer, I always want it to be perfect. And I have been known to redo them. So now my lines are going this way, so I'm going to make sure this guy is going this way. So same thing. I do the noise, don't I? Okay, and just make sure. And then you can just kind of feel it. Really get it Now, if our board is perfect and it's on there perfect, this is a 3/8. This is a 3/8 inch. Let me double check. I think it's a 3/8. It could be 5/8. I don't know. This is a 5/8 inch. No, this is a 3/8 inch. We're going with 3/8 inch. And so it's super easy. And I just start right here with a little dab. And since you're bakers, you have no feeling in your fingers, so this doesn't hurt. Right? And I literally love doing crafts. I have a whole craft everything. And so this just kind of brings both of them together. And then I just go like this. And I only do maybe that much at a time. And then I kind of hold him so he doesn't go anywhere. And this is a really thin, ribbon. So see, you can see through it. If I had more, I'd probably do it twice. But we're not going to. You'll practice if you want to. If you don't like this, then don't. But I like it. And it's cheaper. And then you don't have to buy the expensive 1/4 and 1/2 inch drums. Because, oh, and Melissa taught me one thing, that there are, it's like those wasabi tapes. You can do the same thing with the wasabi tapes. Angela, you probably have seen those, right?
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and they come in all kinds of colors. Now see how this guy's doing that? We don't like that. But it doesn't happen when you get some really good cake boards. And I always tend to get the bottom 6 usually come out like this. So I'll probably would use them for a cake auction. And that's really the time that I do striped cakes, because striped cakes aren't really that popular. I think I've only had like 3 this whole year for striped cakes, but I love to do them for auctions because, I don't know, I think people, like, I do auctions all the time, and people, I can do like a beautiful Winnie the Pooh or Tinkerbell or something that I just think would go crazy, and it will get, you know, $50. And then I've done striped cakes that have gotten hundreds of dollars. So it really just, I think people just like it. And then I always find, like, at those auctions, the higher your bid, the more people are like, oh, look at that. So that's why I like to do it. So this is the final thing. And it's very sturdy. Okay, so I was gonna make a cake topper, I forgot. Oh well. But I was gonna show you how I do my cake toppers too. I use my Cricut and I'll cut it out, and then I will put a stick on it and stick it in there. Okay, so let's get started on the striped cake. This is marble, and one thing that's important to keep in mind, we have, these are just the Wiltons, and they're super cheap. Actually, I got these from a customer who I did her a cake for her. She's like, I want to buy you something. And so these showed up at my door like 2 days later. So they're just Wiltons, and I think I looked them up and they were like $11 or something. So, and these all 3 came in one. So these are like, you can just drag these around and make pretty designs. Same with this. And then this one's really, really, really pretty. And if you're not good at making perfect perfect edges, just slap it on there and do something like this on it, and it's beautiful. But this is the one we're going to use today. This is the comb, and you can see how thick that is. That's pretty thick. And I just washed these, so they're a little wet. I wanted them to be clean for you. Okay, so I use this, and I just go right on here. I used to use an extra board. I don't know why, but then I stopped wasting them. So you want to make sure that your cakes are not bigger than your comb, because if they are, then let's say we had our cakes this big, and then we had our comb like this. Can you see that? So then we have to worry about, and then with frosting, it's going to get maybe this big. Then we got to worry about doing this a second row without the flatness of our table. So I always recommend do not go higher than your cakes, because it's going to be a pain in the butt. So we'll just do 3 layers today. Okay, any questions so far? We have a chat, but I haven't checked it. No chat. All right, we're good.
Christy, are those 6-inch cakes?
These are 6-inch cakes, and I'm gonna say they're 2 inches, and I did them all the way to the top, which I normally don't. I normally make my cake layers, I don't know, maybe this tall. I was just playing, and I knew that we could play because we weren't selling this. So these came out of the freezer. They've probably been out for like an hour now. So they're a little bit mushier than I tend to do. Now, Melissa, I know you see, she'll just cut this off and place it right on here so it holds itself. But I'm not that brave yet. So I still use the buttercream. One tip I can tell you, and it's never happened to me with a customer, but I've noticed when I peel these off, sometimes it'll leave, this is just saran wrap, it'll leave a little piece on there. So I always extra be careful. And this is Swiss. I'm used to using my entire kitchen, so we're just in this small space. So if you need me to move my camera, just holler. This is Swiss meringue buttercream, and I just slather some on there, and it's like glue. And then push her down. And I always would recommend having clean hands. I did just wash my hands before we start. Okay. Any questions so far? No? Okay. So this is just a layer, and we all know how to do this, right?
Well, but is that like a non-skid mat under the cake boards?
Non-stick mat, and it came with this. This is an Ateco 610 or something. I used to have just like a Wilton or something. It's probably under behind me somewhere, but I really just disliked it. So yes, this sticks on, and it's really good. Sometimes I still have to hold it, but for the most part,
I have a Wilton and I hate it.
yes, I would highly recommend getting in. Well, mine was an Ateco. Can you guys not see me anymore because my daughter's calling me?
We cannot see you anymore.
I'm declining her call. I just hung up on my daughter for you guys. What the world is happening?
Okay, so this is the 6-inch cake. What's the diameter of that board?
This is a 10-inch board. And I typically would not use a 10-inch board. If I was going to do a 6-inch, I would do an 8-inch.
Okay.
I do 10-inch. Great point, Karen. Thank you. See, you are paying attention. So this is super easy. Just want to make sure it's as flat and level as you can. Now, is she okay? Okay, so, oh wait, I see a message. Hold that thought, guys. Denise, do you ever cut the top of the cake layer off to make it more level? Me, no. And I will show you what I do. Do you guys mind if we take a little time out on this? Actually, let me put this other layer on. No, I don't need to. I forgot it's this morning. It's not gonna.
She call you on Facebook or?
I don't know. My husband is gonna call her back. Hold on, and I'm gonna show you what I do. Okay, so let's pretend that this is our pan, okay? And this is the one that our cake is still sitting in. And we're gonna have to use our imagination. Here's our cake, and it's lumpy. As soon as it comes, we can use this. As soon as it comes out of the oven, we're gonna say it's lumpy. Now this is what I do. I don't know. And I will take a parchment round. I have a bunch of parchment rounds over there. Oh, look at one. So I take the round, and then I take the cake board, and so I'll put this round here, and I just kind of press it so it all comes even. That's what I do. It might do something inside. It might make it more dense. I don't know. I've never had a complaint so far. I have cut my cakes in the past, and I usually end up with more blood than cake.
Christy, you know,
Yes.
I told you to stop doing that. Stop doing that. I told you to stop doing that. And why did I tell you? Did you see your cake sliding? And why was your cake sliding on your board? Because you didn't cut it. Wait, but your little cake, because you have to cut your top off so your cake grips it. You have your icing, it's cold. But you stop pushing your cakes down. You got to slice off your top, people.
And I did. You know me. All right. Thanks for showing us. Appreciate it. Okay, I use cake strips to bake them, and it works for me. The tops are almost always flat. Yes, I have used the cake strips before, and they do work very, very well. My problem is I just don't have the patience for that. I don't know why. Because you gotta ice water it for like 5 minutes, and then you gotta put it around, and by the time I'm done, I'm so frustrated. So I probably throw them in the trash. Yes, Melissa is right. You should cut off the top layer so that you don't have to glue your cake. It will just stick right to it. And she has shown that, and she basically turn the cake over. And I'm just not there yet. That's okay. So one thing I wanted to point out is I have a second bowl. And if you can see in the cake, I got crumbs in it. It's okay because we're in the middle, but we don't want to put our crumbs back in our good frosting. I can hear my daughter talking. I'm gonna shut the door. Okay, does anybody have any questions? No, okay. Oh wait, one more. Oh, haha, I agree. Okay, so now we're gonna pretend like we cut it, and it's gonna make Melissa happy. And she is right, my buttercream is cold. I used it, I made it like 2 hours ago, and then I put it in the refrigerator. So I like to turn the second one this way and then push her down and make sure she's nice and straight. Okay, she looks pretty good to me. And then we're gonna take another dollop of our cold buttercream. That's how good Melissa is. She knows the temperature of my buttercream. She's a turd. I didn't mean it, Melissa. Okay. So, just make,
Christy, it's Karen.
hey,
To
Karen.
have this much frosting as filling, that type of thing, what volume of frosting did you make?
How much did I make?
Yeah.
Well, I used a cup of sugar and a cup of egg whites, and then I cooked that, and then to that I added 5.5 sticks of butter, and then to that I added 1 cup of powdered sugar.
Just the 1 cup?
Well, I first added the 1 cup in the beginning, and then another cup of powdered sugar at the end. Yes.
Okay.
So 2 in total, for sure. Okay. Sometimes I do it to make it pretty. Okay, so we want to make sure it's not too tall. We're still good. Should we be talking about something? Melissa always talks the whole time. I don't feel like I know what to talk about. All right, we're gonna put our last layer on. I think this is gonna be good. I don't think we should do another one. Okay, now let's look and see. Oh my goodness, we are way off. That's perfect. Okay, I think we should do it again after we put our frosting on. This guy I just like to put right on top. All right, so Melissa is very right. When it is so cold, it is a lot harder to put on, but that's okay. When it's perfect temperature, it just goes on like a dream.
So Christy, if we make it too cold, what do we do to fix the problem?
To make it too cold, you could wait. You could probably whip it up because this is barely cold. But if it's really, really too cold, you can put it back on the stove for even like, let's say we had it in a regular mixing bowl. You can just have the heat here and just kind of put it on here, just to get it a little warm. You can always go if it gets too warm, then you can put it in the fridge and get it cold again. But when it's the perfect temperature, it's like beautiful silk. It's like magic. Have you guys made Swiss meringue before, Karen?
I'm not allowed to.
Oh, okay.
So I had to get recipes from Texas.
Yeah.
I don't think I will ever make anything else. Like, I will only make American if it's requested, but I don't like to. Ever since Melissa taught me Swiss meringue, that's my go-to.
Too. I
Well,
really
Angela, do your cottage food rules say that it's okay to do that?
Well, here's the thing where I'm pretty fortunate. I live on a Native American reservation, so we kind of do our own thing.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm supposed to use like high density shortening and an emulsifier.
Wow. Yeah.
Pain.
Yeah. I'm pretty fortunate. And plus, like, I really only sell to like friends and like close people. So I don't really, I don't have like a big customer volume or anything. So I'm pretty, I kind of have freedom to do whatever I want.
Well, that's great.
Over in her grave right now. Melissa's rolling over in her pool.
And why is it sliding there, Christy? Why is it sliding? You tell me.
It's sliding because I did not touch the water.
Well, here's the deal, is that when you're able to cut the tops off, it's even so it helps you prevent bulges and such, and for the cake to shift the layers, is that if you do cut the tops off, and it doesn't need to be a lot, it could just be a little, it opens up the fresh cake so it grips your icing, and then it does, and then you don't struggle for it to move.
Okay, so let's talk.
Melissa,
What?
we should be happy that you didn't hot glue it down.
Once she gets icing on the bottom like border like she's doing, it shouldn't move anymore. But
Yeah.
but it does. It really does help it a lot. So if you guys try it, you'll be really, really happy.
I was so scared to cut my cakes, and finally one day I was like, I'm just gonna do it. And ever since I won't not do it. It makes it so much easier.
It does, and because you have the icing, you don't need to worry about I cut it unevenly. The icing hides a multitude of sins in between the layers. So even if you're not straight across and you cut just a little at an angle, the icing will fix it.
But I'm so scared I'm gonna cut myself.
Well, listen, if you put your hand on top, even if for a while, put your hand on top of a board, okay? So put the board on the cake, put your hand on top, and then gently just slide your knife under it until you're comfortable.
I guess we could practice.
Yeah,
Christy, I'm
practice
pretty
it.
accident prone, and I haven't cut myself yet.
I
I'm
have
very
done it
accident
many
prone.
times. I will be honest, I've done it many, many times. You just start to learn not to do that.
All right, I'm gonna put this crumb coat in the freezer. My freezer is in here. You can do freezer or fridge. I like freezer because it's right here. And then I'm gonna practice cutting my tops for Melissa.
Yay, you're so brave, Christy. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I gotta rearrange because I've got so many cake orders that the wait got. Oh. Okay. So I can do this. I'm gonna get a little knife first. Hey, Melissa, should I go get a different board, or is this little one going to be enough to show me the difference?
I think you could do it on, put your hand on top of that. I mean, I've never really done that. I mean, honestly, you could almost put your hand on top of the comb, that white comb you have with the purple handle. If you just are nervous about having your hand directly on it, but you still want to see your cake, you see this white comb you have with this purple handle, put that on top of your cake to let your hand sit on while you're holding the, yes, if you're nervous.
I am nervous.
Well, don't be nervous, and you don't need to cut a lot off. You're just really, You can cut if you need to, but if not, you're really looking to expose just the fresh cake. And then you can also buy a cake leveler. You know, if down the road you're like, this isn't as comfortable for me.
I have one and it broke.
Well, I definitely recommend an Agbe, which won't break, but they are costly. So but if you want to, tort a lot or, level up, and you need a longer knife, and you need a serrated knife.
I was just gonna ask that.
I
Yeah,
have a knife and I call it the Monster. I will go get it. But
Go get it. Go get it.
if I start bleeding,
That's fine. That's fine. Go get it. You need a serrated knife, and they're longer, so it makes it easier because it goes through all at once. So go get it.
Go get the Monster, Christy.
I'm gonna get it. Oh my gosh. And the Monster, Jim.
She cuts herself every time she uses this knife.
Today's gonna be the day she does not cut herself. I just know it.
Well, Jim, do you have the first aid kit handy?
I'm kind of 50-50 on it.
I'm just hoping she makes it back.
I hear Jim's voice. Here it is.
All right, perfect. That's what you need.
This is this.
Now, yeah, I mean, it is significantly longer than most, but it's honestly great because the truth is that if you were doing a 12-inch cake, you could go all the way through the cake on one swipe. So you're gonna put your other hand on top of your little doodad, and you're gonna keep your fingers tight. So you wanna make sure your hand's always on it. So gently hold your knife completely parallel to your workstation and just start sawing into the cake gently, and then just keep going all the way across. And here's the best part. You don't need to take all of it off if you're, Christy, you're fine. Take off your thingy. If you're not gonna be able to go all the way across, so exactly. Now just keep going in, exactly. Keep sawing in.
Listen, my hands are trying to move.
That's what your hand on top is doing. So you're pushing it down so your cake doesn't slide while your knife is going across, okay? And then you can move your hand. You can move your hand where it was, go next to your cake. So take your hand and hold your hand right there on the corner of your cake on the outer rim, yes. So keep sliding your knife. And once your knife comes into the middle, you can, if you're nervous, you can put your hand opposite the knife on top. Does that make sense? On top.
Look.
That's fine. And then go back. If you need to go back again and do more.
Not fighting your knife.
And if you want to turn your cake around and you feel more comfortable, now do the other half. And this is a good way to start just to practice going across. There you go.
Christy, what's the actual intended use for that knife? It's a Monster.
It's a bread knife, a serrated knife.
It was the biggest one I thought.
So now you're done.
But
So
it's
you can even it all. I can't see so well because it's hard to tell what's real and what. So yeah, if you want to take that off, you can, but you don't have to. You know what I mean? There you go. Keep going. And then when you go, you can go turn this cake upside down on your board, and you'll see that your cake won't really move and slide around as much, and it'll help with the inside layers as well.
It's not going anywhere.
I know. So, and then when you start to do your other layers and you stack, you won't worry about your cakes shifting or sliding.
Christy, you did it. I'm so proud of you.
And
No blood.
Clean this. I mean, clean it. It's going over there. You know how many times I've cut myself on that thing? I did it though. I'm going to do it from now on because you are right. It is, and I always say my cakes don't stay where they're supposed to stay. I always say that. And now I did it.
Good job.
Thank you. All right, so I'm a little bit adrenaline. This guy's going back here. I think I'm gonna eat him later. I deserve it. Okay, we should be able to get our crumb coat out by now, I would say. Now I dirtied this up. Does anybody have any questions about how to cut a cake? All right, just getting reorganized. I'm gonna have a hard time with this, but that's okay. That's okay. All right, so it's pretty firm, a little tiny tacky. We might could leave it in a little bit longer, but that's okay. So what I find that is most important when doing this is that you put a lot of buttercream on, because you want your buttercream to be at least this thick when you scrape it off. Make sense? So we gotta put a lot on. And it's still not that beautifully smooth. But it's okay.
It's Karen again.
Hello.
All right, so you have your cake on the cake board that you're going to keep it on.
Yes.
And you're using white frosting on a white board, which isn't so bad.
Mhm.
But I tried to do frosting like a chocolate frosting on a white board, and I
Yeah.
tried to put wax paper under the cake and then try to, pull it out after. But
Yes.
how do you protect the board from getting all full of frosting?
Well, I don't. This is a grease-proof board. So when I'm done, I just clean it up. Super, super easy. So that's one of the benefits of the board that Melissa uses, because it's grease-proof also. You can, and I have accidentally bought these not grease-proof, and then you wouldn't be able to do it because the butter from the buttercream would start like staining it basically. But since these are grease proof, I just kind of go, I don't know if you see, I just kind of go like this and it just cleans it right off.
So that's what I have to do, is just buy different boards.
Yes, see if your boards are grease proof.
Probably not.
They're probably not. And then it won't happen. And I put it in the freezer. I put buttercream. I don't even worry about it because I just clean it off later. This is definitely not enough buttercream, but we're just gonna get it a little.
Christy, this is where I come into problems. Like, I can get the frosting on there, but once I start trying to scrape and get it to look even, I end
Yeah.
up scraping too much, and then I'm back to the crumb, and then I get it in the icing, and it's just it's very frustrating.
Okay, so my biggest suggestion on that is to go slower, to use your freezer or your refrigerator more. So like, see, we have this right here. So this would be a problem, right? We just want to cover it up, even though it's after the fact. If you are going so far that you're getting past the crumb coat, then you probably aren't putting on enough to begin with. Could
That's
that
what
be
I'm thinking. Maybe I'm not putting enough on.
a good way that you can kind of get an idea? And I have done this before, is to make a chocolate cake and crumb coat it and put frosting on there. And then if you can see the chocolate, then that's a good indication that it's not thick enough.
That's a great idea. I'll try that.
And it's something that I used to do in the beginning because I didn't want to waste the buttercream. I was like really skimping on it, and I don't know why. Like,
Well, it's a lot of work too to make the buttercream.
it's a lot of work, and I felt like if I had some left over, it just made me feel better. But I will tell you that this buttercream being cold is making me very sad. But like, I knew that I wanted to make it ahead of time. And Melissa said, so we're going to blame Melissa. She had said last time that she let it sit and she let it sit too long. So really, we can blame her, I think.
Wait, whoa. What did I let sit too long?
Remember last week? It wasn't last week before. You said that you made your buttercream like 6 hours before the show.
Yeah.
You had to re-whip it because you had let it sit too long.
If my kitchen's cold because I do Swiss meringue, then my butter would get cold. If my kitchen was freezing, yes, and it sat. It's all based on the temperature of my kitchen. But this is American.
No, this is Swiss meringue.
Swiss?
It's kind of like a mixture. So I made the Swiss meringue, and then I put powdered sugar in at the end.
Oh.
You haven't heard this recipe. I haven't shared this recipe with you yet.
Why would you do that?
Because I'm a recipe and I wanted to try it.
Oh, do you like it?
I liked it until it got cold.
Oh, yeah, well, that's what ends up happening is that it gets Swiss meringue. If it gets too cold, if your kitchen's chilly, then the butter starts getting cold ahead of time. Honestly, it was I thought it was American. I didn't realize.
Yeah, it's okay.
But and honestly, if you end up heating up your scraper, it'll soften it up for you when you scrape it. Also, sometimes if you are adding on icing and you feel like you're taking off too much, look at the angle of your comb or your spatula. If your angle is out too far, like at a 45 degree, you're going to start taking off. Try to put your angle, for anyone who's having issues, keep your spatula a little more flat onto the thing and you'll move the icing versus remove the icing.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Angle of that little spatula guy as well.
Okay. I'm teaching class, but really, Melissa, this is a
I'll
new thing. This is going to be our new thing. You're going to teach me how to do it. No, I really like this. Okay, I'm going to stop here. I'm almost out of buttercream, which I think is really bad. Maybe I shouldn't have used brand new recipe when I was teaching, but that's okay. I'm gonna put this in the refrigerator for a few minutes, and I'm gonna go heat up some water so that I can heat up my spatula and do like Melissa said. So normally what I do, because I don't have a sink in my bakery, I'll just put it in the microwave real quick.
They could probably still hear you if you talked while you were over there.
What are you doing? I got some cake for us to eat later.
Christy, are you still doing your projects with the kids?
Well, no. We stopped doing it in person, and then we started doing it just like making stuff for them and delivering it to them. And then I just got so busy with everything. I just didn't. I don't know. Didn't want is the right word, but just it got to be too much, you know. So no, we haven't done it since the 4th of July. But I really liked it. Okay, I'm gonna go get my water. So I put it in for 2 minutes and I still had 49 seconds. So it definitely did not sit for very long. And then I'm gonna put this right in the water. And I usually use my other spatula or my other guy. This is my favorite guy. Put him into, but he's just not long enough. Okay. So I don't know how you guys heat yours, but that's how I. All right. So Angela, are you watching?
I am.
Okay. So this is what I do. It's got it nice and warm, and then just go like this, and he smooths right out. And we're not really taking anything off. We're just smoothing him out. And then, I really need more space, guys. Did you see how that already made a difference?
Yeah.
Okay, so then what we want to do, now, first of all, let me say, when you're using the comb cake, you do not have to make it this perfect. But when I talked to Angela the other day, we were talking about making it perfect. So I'm just going to show you just a little bit what I do. Okay, so can you see like right here?
Yeah, I can see like the little imperfections.
Yeah, so this is what I do. I just take my spatula, my offset spatula, and then I just fill in those spaces. And you really can become obsessive about this if you don't watch yourself. At least I do. Like, sometimes I'll just do this until I don't have a single speck of imperfection. But I can tell you that the customers don't know. At least I don't think they do. Okay, then we're gonna go right back to where we were. And we're not taking it off, we're just smushing it down. Okay.
So I ordered a plastic, because I remember one of our classes, Melissa had this really looked amazing plastic one, but she said she got it from like one of her conventions and she didn't know where it had come from. So I was looking, searching, trying to find one. And yeah, I saw some of those too. And I was kind of thinking I should have went with the metal bench scraper type one, but I didn't. So it hasn't come in yet. We'll see how it goes.
I do have those. I just somewhere buried in this pile of junk. Because I do really like them too. But I don't know what I did. They're like very flexible and
yeah, I think that's the one that, well, something similar to that is what I think I ordered, but we'll see when it gets in.
I know I have some. I just where I put them is beyond me. Oh well. I do love them too.
But I'm glad you have like the different ones so I can see.
Yeah. Okay. So
like, I did see some of those and I wasn't sure about those either, so I get to see.
the discs also. What I like is how tall this one is. All right, so I don't think we have enough buttercream on here, but we're gonna do it anyways because why not? Let me see what time it is. What, it's 9 o'clock already? Okay, so here are the important parts. One, you probably should put this back in the refrigerator for a little bit, but that's okay. We're not going to. Number 2, we want to make sure that our cake comb or striped comb stays flush, okay? So you can either do it straight in or at an angle. Because I know that we don't have enough buttercream on here because in some places I can see the cake. This isn't good, but we're gonna go with it anyway. So remember when you do this, more buttercream, but I'm just about out. Okay, so are you guys ready? Do you have any questions first? No? Okay, so it's straight and I want to make sure that I'm getting my grooves in my cake. Okay. And then we wipe it off. Okay, so now, here are the things that we need to remember, okay? Just like when we were frosting it and there were divots that we didn't like, if we have divots in here and then we do our stripe, the reason that it works is because we put the other color in there. But if the other color would get in a little divot that's not perfect, then we wouldn't be able to wipe it off and you wouldn't have it perfect. So in a perfect world, we would go back again to any of them that are not absolutely perfect and add the buttercream to it. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay. So I'm trying to find a good one. Like, let's say right here, it's barely even buttercream on there anymore. So we're going to take this, and this is just very easy. Okay, you're going to take it on anywhere it's not right. You just put it on there. Okay, you're not going to mess it up because I'm going to let you guys see. We started here and it's flush. So as long as we stay flush, it's gonna always do it. Make sense? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the main thing. That's why we don't want it to be too tall. We don't want anything, we don't want to have a double layer or anything like that. So here, let me see if I can find one. Here's a good one right there. He's not very good. Okay, he's gonna give us a hard time. Okay, and then we want to clean this. My guy is black. Okay, and as long as we keep them flat, we can do this as many times as we want. Okay. Now, at this point, we can put our other color in. But before we do this, we need to harden him up. Because if we don't harden him up, when we scrape, we're going to scrape everything off. And we want the white to harden up. Make sense? Okay. Does anybody have any questions so far? Karen? Angela? Do you think it seems easy so far?
It does seem easy. I just hope that I can get enough frosting on my cake.
Well, this was not enough, for sure. So.
And it looked like a lot, so that worries me.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot when I started, but it definitely wasn't. And it's not going to work without enough.
Also, in regards to the icing, another reason is when icing is more puffy and it is right temperature, you don't use as much. So when it gets colder, it condenses more and you have to use more to cover it. So you don't get as much use out of it. So I think that was also it.
A big problem. Well, you know what I'm really happy about, Melissa, is even though like I'm doing the work, I still feel like we're learning a lot.
Well, that's good. Well, I don't mean to butt in, but I feel like I always learn stuff from people who teach classes, and I feel like everyone can always learn because everyone has their tips and tricks that work.
Right. And, I definitely have my skill set. I've always been a baker, and the decorating side is new for me. And think about how much I've learned just since you've been teaching me. I think that's a testament to how great of a teacher you are, because I mean, I've only been doing this since we've known each other, really. So I think it's great. And there's a big difference between being a baker and being able to decorate enough to charge hundreds and hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars.
I agree. And everyone starts in a, we all started somewhere.
Right.
Listen, as like, if everyone doesn't even realize this, my first decorated cake I made it with a Duncan Hines box mix, and I used the Duncan Hines can icing, and I did not know that I couldn't decorate in that. So I would squirt like 4 stars, and then I had to put my cake in the fridge. And then I would come back, so like 12 hours later. So listen, like everyone learns along the way. And that was, my son will be 18, and that was his second birthday cake. So that's when I started the decorating. So,
Yeah.
you know, you always, everyone picks it all up along the way.
Yeah, she started low. I agree. And I think what I like is, you know, there's not going to be many people, you know, that are going to get up here and do this. And when you're doing it and you're, you know, extremely skilled, it's hard to always remember the basics. And, you know, when I can come up here and do the basics, then it's a teaching moment, because, you know, you get to realize the little things that, you know, maybe don't come up when you're doing great. You know, does that make sense? I think that makes sense to me.
I think it makes sense. And I'll be honest with you, in regards to me telling you about that, holding that offset spatula at the angle, in all seriousness, I listened to that in a class 3 weeks ago, and it was like an aha moment. Like, oh, you're right. Like, I never paid attention that when I fight with my icing, it's because I'm at a wrong angle. So listen, no matter how old you are, however long you're doing it, you will always, like right now, I'm in a ton of classes to do, I want to advance my palette knife decorating. This is like an avenue I've never really dealt with much outside of very little. So I always say everyone is always learning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For sure. Okay, I'm going to get my cake out. Let me see what time it is. I don't think it's near hard enough, but we've already messed up so much. Why not? So we're just going to be extra, extra careful. The good thing about this cake is you don't really have to be careful, but because we have not enough buttercream, because it's not frozen enough, we're going to be extra careful when we do this. Like, literally, if you had this at the right consistency, temperature, all of those things, you could literally just put this second coat all over and it wouldn't make a difference. Like, you could pipe it on just like that, because you're going to take off so much. So, but because we did not do perfect, we're going to be extra careful. So this, I think, might be a 12. Yeah, this is a 12. A Wilton 12. And I find it to be the perfect size. So we want to make sure we have more than we'll fill it. You know, we don't want to go too under filled, because then you'll just have to go back and do more. But you want to try and keep it consistent. Not like that. Can you see it all? So you want to keep consistent pressure on it and go all the way around and filling the whole thing. Okay. Does that look easy to you guys? It is super easy.
I was wondering how this was going to work. But it's coming
You
together.
literally you literally don't have to do it like this. Like, if you do it right, all the things that I told you, like I have literally just slapped on the second color. And when you use your bench scraper and scrape it off, it works perfectly. And you don't have to move your wrist. You're doing the work with the board.
Unless you have a Wilton.
And I have way too much frosting in here for my little hands. I don't know. Melissa does her tutorials and it's like everything is perfect. Oh, but she has made a mistake before and then we really learned from it. Like,
Well, that's the thing. Like, even the same thing with you. When she makes mistakes, she goes along with it and then shows us all how to fix a mistake. So we're still learning.
exactly. That's very true. And I have learned so much from watching Melissa. So hopefully you can learn a little bit from this, especially if you've never done one. You know, you get the basics, you get the idea.
Have yet to make a cake where I haven't made some kind of a mistake and had to figure out how to fix it. So,
And learning how to troubleshoot is a great thing. Is there a question? I think you're doing great. I appreciate learning. Let me see, because that sounded so nice. Aw, thank you so much, Denise. That was so sweet. That just makes me want to do it. See, I get so in my head, like, I can't do this. And then I get somebody that's, y'all are wonderful. And the less frosting I get, this is chocolate. I just put chocolate in the Swiss meringue. I'm not sure what this is called, Melissa. This is a version of Swiss meringue. It's Swiss meringue, and then I put powdered sugar on at the end. And I got it from that guy, is his name Josh? The cake man or something? You know what I'm talking about? Man about cake.
Oh no, I don't think I know who he is.
I love Joshua. I'm friends with
Yes.
him. Right, classes. Joshua John Russell. He's based in Atlanta. He's the best. The sweetest everything. So sweet.
That is who I got this recipe from. So I just try it.
Yeah, I love him. I used to, I met him years ago. I took a class up in Canada, and him and James Roselle and Marina Sosa and who else was there? Elisa Strauss, all of them. And then I stayed friends with most of them, and Josh was amazing. But yeah, he's in Atlanta. He's great.
That's awesome.
He is the sweetest ever.
This top definitely not good.
Well, I first learned about him on the cake challenges.
Yeah. Okay. We're done. Just kidding.
Ta-da!
All right. Now the moment of truth. Who thinks it's gonna work? Not me. All right. This is supposed to be easy. This is why I like it. But it's never been so much pressure. Okay. So we're going to scrape and scrape and scrape until it works. And you're going to think, oh my gosh, this is never going to work. And then it is. I guess I can use my regular bowl. Because you want to make sure you clean it in between each one. Very important. gonna go again. Now look how much this is coming off. See, this is where it was so low. So that's super bad. Super bad, guys. We're not gonna do him anymore. Look, isn't that cool? So everything looks good except the top. And I'm really scared to mess it up. But I'm gonna try. Just took off too many. But you know what we can do? Is a drip. So we know that this didn't work because I didn't put on enough buttercream and I didn't make my rings deep enough, my stripes deep enough. What do you think? I think that's why. What do you think, Melissa?
I think it looks good. Listen, that's what drip and icing is for, to hide your blemishes.
Yeah. All right,
It's a rustic cone cake. Rustic.
I'm gonna make some drip out of this Swiss meringue. Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I don't know why I asked. Okay, so I did, I just put this chocolate buttercream in the microwave for, I did 5-second increments, and then I did it 3 times. I think that'll be just fine. All right. We can either do a bottle, but then that makes too much cleanup. So we're gonna do it the not cleanup way. Right, Melissa? Yes. We're gonna do it the no cleanup way. I could just spoon it on, but we don't. I love watching other people spoon it on. I just haven't mastered that yet. Karen, Angela, what about y'all? When you do drip? Do you do drip?
I can't spoon. Nope.
Haven't tried it yet.
If you try it and you succeed, let me know. Because for some reason, I can't. And remember, this has the pointy thing, so we always want to push that down. Okay. And I'm just gonna do. Can you guys see it all?
Yep.
It's not much of a drip, but we'll do some little extra guys. Right, now I'm just gonna fill her up. Now the good thing about this is it's buttercream, so once it gets hard, you can do the same thing. And I mean, if it doesn't turn out right, you can put it in the freezer and scrape it like you would this and make it beautiful.
I didn't even know you could do a drip with buttercream, so something I learned.
What I like about this is, specifically when I do the striped cake, is you get the same color. That's my favorite part, because now the drip and the things are the same. Make sense?
Yes.
All right, let's see. Do I have any more of this? I could do some little doodads at the top. I'm used to cleaning in between each process, so we're just gonna start moving stuff. So this, I don't think this is a one that I really like. Let's use this guy. He's in a Teco, so he doesn't tell us what he is, but he looks like that. We're going to cheat a little bit and just plop. Okay, so what I like to do when I do these guys is, for some reason I can't just eyeball it, so I like to do that side and then go straight across. And then straight across. And I'm probably gonna run out of buttercream. Tiniest one there. This is just what I'm doing. Taking this and wishing it down. Because I want to get one more guy. All right. He's a little guy. Yay! Okay. Now, I was thinking that I thought this earlier. I got some little Whoppers and I put gold luster dust on them. So I was thinking it would be super neat to put some little gold sprinkles. This is, I think this is sanding sugar. Yeah, sanding sugar. Just a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see that. And then, I don't know, this just came to me. I literally went to the store at 6 o'clock to get this. There's the little guy. All right. What do y'all think?
So pretty.
It's not perfect, but I think
It's
it'll
pretty.
I
Yeah.
look great.
Thank you guys. All right. Did you guys really like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
It's nice.
It is.
So with the luster dust on the mothballs, did you just brush it on or?
No, this is what I did. So I put these are Whoppers. Yeah, Whoppers.
Right.
I put here. And then I just took a little tiny bit of the dust and put it in here. And it's just the straight powder. And it just made them so beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it. Any questions?
Nope. You're gonna post it on your website, right?
I don't know. Do you think it's good enough?
I think
It's
so.
so pretty.
I have to.
And like
I have
Melissa said, angles everything.
angles. I'm looking for an angle. I don't see one.
And then put it on Home Bakers and tell everybody that's what you missed.
That's right.
Thanks for being so supportive, guys. It
Yeah.
really means. I can't tell you how nervous this stuff makes me. I don't know why. I'm shaking still.
My 16-year-old just said that is so pretty.
Yeah.
Aw, thank you very much.
So who gets to eat this? Is it going to work?
I'd probably take it to work.
I do. I get to eat it.
I will probably take it to work tomorrow, is my guess. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Christy.
Gonna
Thank
try
you so
it.
much,
Thank
Christy.
you.
You're welcome. You guys
Have a
gonna
good
try?
work. Have a good week.
I will. Thank you guys so much.
I can't wait
love
to
this.
try it.
Thank you. I can't wait to see you guys try it.
Okay.
Thank you,
Bye.
Christy.
Thank
See,
you so much.
see you guys
Thank
next
you.
week.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you guys so much.